So the last Nintendo Direct that we got was honestly really good. I enjoyed tons of the things that were showcased during this event. Whether it was an update on a game we already knew about, an announcement of a new game like a freaking new Mario Strikers game, Nintendo Switch Sports, some online bangers that are gonna rip families and friendships apart playing these games online. I definitely really enjoyed it. Even Xenoblade Chronicles fans got their moment in the sun with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 while I sit here and wait for my Xenoblade Chronicles export to the Nintendo Switch. Where the hell is it? That's my favorite Xenoblade game, but alas. Overall, it was just a great show from top to bottom. Really something for everyone when it comes to Nintendo fans and owners of the Nintendo Switch. Alas, there was something missing though. There was a game that I feel like a lot of people expected to be there. It was a game that is obviously touted as one of the most anticipated games of 2022, and it's a franchise that's doing honestly better than ever. I, of course, am talking about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. We saw this game showcased back in September of 2021. It was said to be a 2022 title. Many people expected it to be at this event, getting a showcase, some new information, maybe some explanations of all the gameplay elements that we've seen, whether it's via the trailers or via the patents that we discovered a couple months ago on the channel. Make sure you guys check out that video. I don't know the hell the title of it is. Just search Breath of the Wild 2 RGT. We learned about a ton of new gameplay mechanics that are going to be in this game. And like I said, Zelda fever is alive and well. These Zelda games are selling better than they ever have. When you look at the Legend of Zelda franchise, as far as game sales are concerned, you know, there's some heavy hitters, but like nothing like this. Nothing like we're seeing now with this system and, you know, these games and the Zelda IP. But like I said, it wasn't at the event. It was completely missing in action. So now there's a lot of questions about this. There's a lot of questions about what is going on with Breath of the Wild 2. And now there's even more questions because it looks like we are actually getting an E3 this year. Now, of course, this game was first unveiled at an E3 event. We got a teaser trailer of Zelda and Link walking through some little weird cavern with a torch or something. I don't know what's going on with that. But E3 was kind of up in the air as to whether or not it was actually going to happen this year. Now, there's a lot of people who don't care about E3. They're like, oh, you know, it's old school. We don't need it anymore. We have companies that, you know, can just do whatever they want. And I get that sentiment. I get that statement. But I do like the E3 event as it stands, and I'll explain why in a second. But it does seem like there is going to be an E3 2022 this year, and it's going to be, once again, another digital event, which I think is great. You know, I have no aspirations to actually go to an E3 because it just seems too chaotic. Like, you don't get to play a lot of these games. Like, you have to wait in these long lines and stuff in order just to play a game for a few minutes. And it's like, you know, that's not really my interest. I don't want to be around a bunch of people. Get away from me. I'll shank you if you get too close to me. But I do love E3 as a presentation because of the structure of it. You know, when COVID hit and we didn't know what was going on, we didn't know what was happening. Think of all the events that we had that were just all over the place. They would just pop up completely out of the blue. You couldn't plan for any of this stuff. You couldn't sit there and anticipate. You know, some people take days off during E3 just to watch it and cover it because they enjoy it, or just watch it just to watch it. So the structure was completely gone. So I love the structure of an E3 because it's like, okay, at this time, this company will be talking about what they're going to be doing. Now, yes, some of these showcases don't need to happen. There's a lot of companies that go out there and just, you know, fart on stage or fart on their digital events and shit. And it's just like, you could have just done a press release for this. You could have put out a trailer for this, but there is some excitement with it. And as a content creator, I love the structure because it allows me to plan things out. It allows me to know when I'm going to be talking about something, when I need to be watching something. And I mean, E3 is a great season for content creators because we make good money. We make good money talking about all this stuff, and I'm a man who likes money. But with E3 2022 seemingly being on the table, we go back to the question that we just had. Well, why is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 not at the February Nintendo Direct? So with E3 2022 seemingly happening, we have to start to look towards the Nintendo Direct that's going to take place during this. Nintendo always does a Nintendo Direct, and they're usually really good, but I almost feel like the lines have been a bit blurred with this rise of the digital era and the rise of the digital age, because you could argue that the February Nintendo Direct that we got could have been an E3 one. Like, if you would have thrown in another game or two, like, that thing was stacked. That thing was stacked to the brim with game announcements, trailers, gameplay, everything you really want from one of these presentations. So we have to circle back to the main question. Well, why wasn't Breath of the Wild 2 at that February Direct? Is it going to be at this summer Direct? And when the hell is this game coming out? Because I'm still of the mindset that this is not guaranteed to be a 2022 game. And I know that's going to upset some people. I know that that's going to be, you know, a bit of a hot take or a controversial topic, but we're seeing this happen with lots of games. Think of how many games were supposed to come out in 2021 that ended up getting delayed. Think of how many games that were supposed to come out in 2022 ended up getting delayed. I mean, games like Forspoken was supposed to be out like around this time, and now it's not coming out till October. Gotham Knights has been delayed as well. It's happening a lot more in the video game industry because of the change in work conditions and things of that nature. Now, Nintendo definitely seems to be on top of things. They definitely seem to have their finger on the pulse when it comes to developing their games. However, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is obviously a game very large in scope. When it comes to the scope of the game, you could definitely make the argument that this is something kind of like Metroid Prime 4. Now, yes, they'll be using the same engine from the original Breath of the Wild game, just adding in some things, changing up some things, but that was different. Breath of the Wild was different because it was never really supposed to be a Switch game. It was supposed to be a Wii U game. So during the whole Wii U's development cycle, they had all this time to work on that game because they realized, hey, nobody's buying this damn thing. You know, this thing is flopped, you know, but we're still making the Zelda game for it. We'll just also put it on our new system. So I feel like that they could push the boundaries of what the Switch can do as far as this game is concerned, because you got to remember, all those 2017 heavy hitters, I guarantee you, most of them were originally Wii U games. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Wii U game. Splatoon 2, a Wii U game. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was a Wii U game. So I feel like, you know, as far as the bigger projects are concerned, we really haven't seen Nintendo have to go all out with the Nintendo Switch, and that may be why this game seems to be taking a little longer than maybe people anticipated, than many people expected. When you look at the turnaround time from Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask, it was pretty quick comparative to what we're seeing with this game and Breath of the Wild 2. So are there problems with the development of the game? Is there something going on? Because I feel like a lot of us expected this to be potentially a 2021 game. Now we're almost a quarter of the way through 2022 and we don't have a release date for it. We don't really have a release window for this game. It's just 2022. So I feel like that if Breath of the Wild 2 is absent at E3 2022, or for some reason we just get, you know, sort of a vague trailer of the game and, you know, something like we've seen before, if it's not like a big blowout presentation, I think there's a real chance that this game could slip into 2023. And, you know, people are going to be upset by that, but you have to look at the bigger picture here. It's not like that's the only game that's coming out this year. Like, there's tons of shit coming out this year. We just talked about a bunch of games coming out this year, and we really only know about the first half of the year. Many expected Breath of the Wild 2 to sort of come out as a spring title, much like it did on the Nintendo Switch when it launched. You know, Breath of the Wild 2, it made sense to sort of do it 5 years later. However, that wasn't really in the cards, and it looked like Horizon Forbidden West was going to be, you know, able to be on its own. You got to remember, Horizon Zero Dawn came out right alongside of Zelda Breath of the Wild 1. So many people expected them to sort of battle again, but then it had to battle Elden Ring instead. So, you know, just another casualty of the game. They need to sort of work those release dates a little bit better. But will Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 be at E3 2022? Honestly, I do think so. I do think so, but I'm still not sold on the fact that it's a 2022 game. I'm still not sold on the fact that this game will be ready to go, you know, fall of 2022 to be sort of this holiday title. I'm still not sold on the fact. I've heard little murmurs and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, but enough to make me sort of sit here and think, you know, maybe it's not ready yet. Maybe they're trying to do too much with the game, and maybe they sort of have to figure out what they're going to do, because I mean, there's a lot of variables with this, whether you want to accept it or not. There's going to be a new Switch coming sometime soon, and you have to sort of sit here and think, Well, maybe it'll be another cross-platform title. Maybe that's what we're going to see with Metroid Prime 4. Do we really know what Nintendo is doing? Because it seems like there are a lot of games that are just filling in slots in order to, you know, keep the momentum of the system instead of the big heavy hitters like a new Mario game built from the ground up or a sequel to Odyssey. And, you know, same thing with Breath of the Wild. But I don't know. It's a very interesting situation. I know a lot of people have also made this video, but I kind of wanted to put my 2 cents on it because I do feel like you will see this game again this year, but I'm just not completely sold on the fact that it's going to come out this year. And that's one of the main questions here. You know, if it's not the centerpiece of E3's 2022 Direct in June, then, you know, you got to get worried about it. If you end up seeing it in September, it more than likely means you're not going to see the game until 2023 or be able to play the game until then. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this situation. Do you think this game is still on track to be a 2022 game? Do you think it'll slip into 2023? And what are you expecting from E3 2022? Obviously, it's going to be a bit scaled down because of the presumably all digital presentation, but like I said, I hope it does happen. I don't like just a random chaos of companies doing things on their own. Companies need structure, and E3 provides that structure. So please, just, it's not broke. Don't fix it. Don't fix the damn thing. And as always, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. It's snowing outside because I guess that's lousy Smarch weather. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.